It's my shit. I might do a thing where every time I come on here, I start off with a song, just to set the vibes. But let me get this video pulled up. Smoke 'em if you got 'em. All right, put that down real quick. Let's get it. YouTube, what's up, what's up? Back with another one. This number 3, and like I said before, I'm gonna have I got the color guards this time, and I got the box in the corner with the diagram corresponding to the guards so you can see what's going on. The guards kind of speak for themselves. Right now, I got my laptop here, got my camera here, I got the video pulled up, I got my topics. Let's get into some topics. So this dude right here, his name is Tabriz. He's a loyal guy. Let me start this shit real quick so I don't ramble. Yeah, so he's a loyal guy. Another guy that followed me over from the last shot. I've been cutting his hair for probably like, I want to say like a year and a half at this point. He's about to get a low, you can either call it a gentleman's taper, a low ball fade, a low drop fade. But that's what he's getting. So I call it a low drop fade. I say a low drop fade, ball down at the bottom. I'm gonna pick the hair out, start it out to kind of set the framework for the haircut. Like I said before, it's important to start the haircut out clean and neat so that way you finish the haircut clean and neat, right? So what I like to do with this guy, which you'll see me do eventually, is I probably go in, pick his hair out a little bit if I haven't done that already, kind of set the framework for it a little bit right before I go into it. So right now, what you see me doing is kind of like I said, setting the framework. I'm using a 2 guard probably, which is probably all the way close, going down right now, trying to blend those top curly hairs into the bottom of the fade, make it easier for me when I'm gonna blend up. That's how I set the framework for it. And like I always do, I'm going with a clipper all the way closed, flicking out at the top to set that initial guard line, right? Starting off probably like at the temple area, going straight back to the ear, and then I drop it all the way down and bring it back around up to the other side, right? Take my glasses off real quick so you guys can see my eyes. I feel like there's a little bit of glare right there. So then I do that, and then I go back in with the detailers to kind of clean up the bottom and set it up for the fade, right? And then after that, I set my first guideline, clipper all the way open to an inch and a half wide, right? That's usually how I start all of my fades out, whether it's a ball fade, low drop fade, medium fade, taper fade. Even if it's like not getting balded out, I still kind of start it very, very similar. You know, clearly I don't bald off the bottom, but I still kind of set all of my fades the same, because again, a fade is not just a bald fade. A fade is something blending into something. So that can be a 2 blended into a 3, 3 blended into a 2, 4 blended into a 6, 5 blended into a 3. Anything that's blended into something is a fade, right? So let's get into some topics. So 2 ways to become a barber, right? I'm gonna call this a barber journey, right? The journey of being a barber. So let's start from the beginning and let's work our way all the way to the end. Before I start, let me get some hits in. Smoke 'em if you got 'em. To all my pie heads out there, if you prefer joints, raw combs, blunts, wax, edibles, let me know in the chat. See if we can get a poll going, see what we got out there. Me personally, I'm old fashioned. I like the whole process of smoking, whether it's a joint or a blunt. Mostly I prefer blunts, but I'm not going to deny a joint. I mean, I'm not going to deny a blunt if it's in the air. I prefer joints, my bad. I prefer papers, it's more natural in my opinion. I feel like it's a whole ritual and like ceremony behind like rolling or packing a joint. You kind of get into that emotion and you kind of like get to chill and relax. For me personally, smoking if you got it. So 2 ways to become a barber, right? You can either become an apprentice underneath another master barber, or you can go to barber school or a barber college in some states they call it. I think in like Texas and maybe Florida they may call it barber college, but here in the state of Maryland, I'm in Baltimore, they call it, it's just barber school. My school at the time was 10,000, but now I think that same barber school now is about like 20,000, I heard. I know some go up to like 25,000, even 30K maybe, but I know 25,000 is probably like the highest that I saw, right? It's all hours based. In the state of Maryland, you need to get 1,200 hours. It may be more or less than the state that you are in. But for me, it was 1,200 hours. 1,200 hours. Now, that means it's 1,200 hours. It means however long it takes you to get to 1,200 hours. Now, I remember when I went to school, there were some people at the school that, you know, had children or they had different careers, other obligations, and they were probably in school trying to get that barber license for like 3 years, 2 years, year and a half, 4 years maybe. Me, I worked night shift and I just did it straight, 8 hours a day, 8 months straight. It took me to get my license if you're going every day. And that's the shop being closed Sundays and Mondays like every other, like, you know, like traditional barbershops would be. You could do the apprentice route. I do know some people that went to school to be an apprentice and study underneath an apprentice and got that license. Actually, where I'm at right now, I'm a master barber myself, and there's also another master barber who also has an apprentice under him. Me personally, right now, I do want to teach in the future, but I'm not sure exactly what that will look like. I kind of look at this as a way of just kind of stepping my foot in the room of like education and learning from you guys as I learn from myself, and also watching myself cut. I really learn from myself as well. But for me personally, I just feel like doing that, maybe it's a harder route for me. Like if you have a little bit of knowledge of it already, maybe it'll be cool. But if you don't know anything, like when I went to barber school, I remember it was some people in there that like never even held the clipper before. And that blew my mind, Like, nope. Like imagine wanting to go to barber school, right? But never picking up a pair of clippers or like never cutting someone's hair before. That just blew my mind. Like some people that never held a pair of clippers and was just like, but what made you, I was just like, what made you go to barber school? They were like, oh, well, I just thought it was cool. I just thought it looked cool, so I decided to go to barber school. I wonder what some of those people are doing now, if they stuck with it. Because I definitely know some barbers that didn't stick with it and did other stuff. So I'm gonna tell you something, like this shit ain't gonna come. I mean, it may come easy to some people, but I feel like it came a little bit easy to me, but I still had to work for it. You know what I mean? And like, this is definitely something that if you want it, you're gonna have to work for it. And this is something that, this saying holds true. Hard work beats talent, talent don't work. Like this shit comes easy to some people, but if you bust your ass and watch tutorial videos, kind of like invest your time and money into higher education, as far as like advanced share classes, going to barber conventions. We could talk more about that in another video. At some of the barber conventions, they offer seminars on like fading and like acquiring clientele. Like one of the conventions I went to was in Philly. It was called the Philly Premiere, which I don't even think they have that anymore. They still have the Premiere like in Orlando and stuff, and like Vegas and shit, but they don't have it in Philly anymore, which is sad because I really enjoyed that one. But so I went to it twice before they shut it down. So the first one, the Philly Premiere, I think his name was Chuka the Barber, the Rich Barber, and he had a seminar on how to gain clientele, how to get them in your chair, retain them, something like that. How to get new clientele, retain them, and keep them in your chair, I think. That was a pretty good clientele. And it talked about like, you know, raising the right way to raise prices, the wrong way to do it. It's your job to, you know, once you get them in the chair, it's your job to keep them in the chair, pretty much. But yeah, being an apprentice, I think that would be kind of a harder route. But if that's something that works out for you, hey, go for it. I say whatever opportunity you get, take that opportunity. Because believe, if I had the opportunity to be an apprentice, I probably would have jumped on. I just didn't have that opportunity. But barber school worked out for me. So those are two ways you can become a barber: barber school or becoming an apprentice under somebody else. Now, what to expect from barber school? Now, I'm gonna say this, and now I'm pretty sure this holds true through every trade school. Now, I went to 2 trade schools for another career that I had. Now, I feel like those 2 trade schools were very similar in the fact that when you go to trade school, you only learn the basics, right? You learn the basics of whatever skill that you're in or whatever profession that you're in. Now, after you graduate and you get your first job or your first placement, like, then you start learning on the job, right? You can learn more from practicality than you can do in theory, right? Theory can only get you but so far, but the practicality of whatever you're doing is what is gonna get you to that next level, right? That experience and that failing and trying again is what's gonna get you to that next level. And that holds true with this profession as well. I'll say, go to school, definitely pay attention. But I'm not gonna lie, it's a lot of bookwork as well, but I feel like I said before, the practicality is what you learn on. So like, don't go in there and expect to go in there and like come out a great barber already, right? Don't expect that. Go in there, learn the basics or whatever it is that you're about to learn. And then when you get out, you still gonna have to grind. You're still gonna have to watch tutorial videos. You're still gonna watch other barbers that's better than you in your shot work, and eventually you'll get better too. And I look at it with like, there was definitely times where I got into situations with haircuts where I was frustrated, and I was really, really frustrated. And I was doing my best to try not to let the client know that I'm frustrated as well. But I'm sweating, and I'm like, man, I don't know how this is gonna turn out. But one thing I used to always say in my head is like, after all the shit that I've been through in my life, this haircut is not gonna be the thing that beats me. This haircut is not gonna beat me. As long as you keep that mentality, eventually you'll get it. You're gonna go through some bad haircuts, but eventually you're gonna get it. And this was a haircut. This low drop fade right now, as I'm going in with the one open right now. You see how I'm using the corner, I'm going in with the one open. This haircut on this particular client, right? Like, he's a trooper, because I feel like when I first started cutting his hair, it definitely wasn't the best, right? I'm not gonna lie, it definitely wasn't the best. But like I said, this is one of those things where I tried. I looked at other people blend into similar haircuts or similar texture style hair, looked at their techniques, and like gather other techniques. And now, like, I feel like I just bust his haircut out. And like I said, it's good enough for him to follow me from one shop to the next, so I guess I'm doing something right. Now, misconceptions of being a barber, that's a good one. Misconception of being a barber. That's just interesting. Now, if you're nervous about becoming a barber because you're not sure what to expect, or you're not sure if you can actually make enough money, or you're unsure about how much barbers actually make, let me just put this in perspective for you. Just imagine working 6 days a week, because you're gonna have to grind, you're gonna have to get to it. But just imagine working 6 days a week, but you set your own hours and schedule and everything. But just think about this: 6 days a week at, let's say, 7 to 10 haircuts a day, right? At $40 a regular haircut. So if $40 is a regular haircut, and haircut and beard would be like, say, $60. Say maybe you average out around like $50. So 6 days a week, the average haircut is $50, and you're getting 10 haircuts a day at $50. I feel like that's a decent amount of money. But I will say, when I Googled it, because I was kind of apprehensive about going to barber school as well, I wasn't sure how much money I can make. And to be honest with you, I'm pretty thankful that I get to make money and make a living out of doing something that I've been doing since I was like 12 years old. Just for the fun of it, just for the love of it. It's just something that it kind of came natural to me. I was so intrigued about this all the time, and like, it's very interesting to me now that out of all the things that I've tried, out of all the careers that I've had, this is my third now, that this is the one that sticks. This is the one that I've been doing since I was 12, and this is the one that is paying my bills right now, is allowing me to do what I'm doing right now, is allowing me to live where I live and have the things that I have to talk to y'all and give back. It's a blessing. I will say that. It's definitely interesting. But that's neither here nor there. But so all that to say that if you're thinking about becoming a barber and you're kind of apprehensive about how much money you make, you can make a decent living. There's guys who make like over $100,000 a year just standing in the barbershop, behind the chair, cutting hair 6 days a week. But there's a lot of other things that you can do in this field. You can create your own product. You can become a platform artist. You can start your own barbershop, barber school. And through that, you can give back to the community through like charity events, back to school events, homeless people events. Like, I feel like being a barber is something that possibly may be looked over, but there's definitely barbers out here that's like killing the game and making a decent living doing something that they love to do. And now, decent is relative, and I say you can live a life of luxury through this. Now, I mean, don't get me wrong, at a certain point you will cap out, right? But it's a field that opened doors and avenues for you to be able to make money in multiple different ways and have multiple different streams of income just from that one business. Like, you can have your own studio and have your own studio hair product. That's 2 streams of revenue. Clothing line merch, that's 3 streams of revenue just from that one field. And then you can also possibly do YouTube off of that, piggyback off of that. You can do platform. You can be a platform artist and have a connection or deal with another brand. That's 3, 4, 5 different streams of revenue from this one field. Just doing something that you love to do, that you have a passion for. And I will say, that's another caveat or cliff note that I'll say, like, doing something for a living that you're passionate about will allow you to exceed expectations by doing higher education, clocking extra hours, studying, doing extra things to get better because you have the urge and burn in your stomach to get better. But when you do those things, you don't look like it don't feel like work to you. You're doing it out of joy, or you're doing it out of just ambition to get better at something that you're passionate about, right? So either way, it's passion and ambition. But when you look at it, it's not work to you. But there's other people in that same field of profession that you're so passionate about that look at it like work. So those extra steps and things that you do to get better at that one skill that you do out of just love for it, those people look at like it's work. So of course you won't pass those people. Of course you'll lap those people. And for me, that's what the beauty of being in the profession that I'm in is. Like, I've seen other people and I look at them and I'll be at work and I'll be like, bro, you've been doing this for like 20 years? And you're only that good? I'm looking at it like, damn, bro, if I was like in this 20 years, like, I feel like there would not be nobody out here better than me. You know what I mean? Like, that's how I look at it. That's how much passion I have for it. And I feel like I'm decent and people tell me that I'm really good all the time. And like, me personally, I don't feel like I'm the greatest. I feel like there's a lot more work that I gotta do. And sometimes I still get nervous about situations that I'm in with haircuts. And I'll be nervous to turn a person around and I'm like, man, I don't know how I feel about this one. And they'll be like, oh man, I love it, it's great. And me personally, I know it could have been better. And that's the standard that I hold myself to. But everybody don't hold themselves to that standard, which allows me to get better than other people. And you can use this same feeling and emotion to apply that to any other field that you're in that you're passionate about. Like if you're watching this video and you're in a different profession and you're passionate about the profession that you're in, just know that your passion allows you to go further than other people in your profession that's not as passionate as you are. And I feel like if you're in a profession that you're not so passionate about and you don't feel this feeling, then maybe you're in the wrong profession. I will say that. Now let's talk about a little bit about state board right now. So state board. Now after you go to barber school, you have to go to state board. Let me take another hit. All right. So, state board. Now, with state board, you have a practical, you have a theory, right? What I did was, I did the theory first, which is a computer test in my state. It may be written where you are, but in my state, it was a written test. I mean, it was a computer test. And I don't really remember how many questions was on the test, but I don't really remember how many questions was on the test, but what I do remember is that we went into the room and they had us put on headphones that's hooked up to the computer, and it wasn't like an amount of questions that you had to answer right that were on the test that you completed. It was like either the time, you had a timer, and if you either answered the right amount of questions, you passed. And if you got a certain amount of questions wrong, then the test is shut off. That's how I kind of went. So I did that first because I felt like if I go in there and I pass that, I'll have momentum going into the practical because I was kind of nervous about it. And another thing is you will have to bring in your own model as well. Like the state board doesn't provide models for you to bring in. So you have to find someone, maybe a family member, cousin, boyfriend, your girlfriend's brother, whatever, brother-in-law. You have to bring anyone in to do the haircut. I would suggest bringing in an easy haircut, something that's really easy to do. Don't bring in somebody that's trying to get a ball fade. Right, I got somebody I was dating a girl at the time. Her father was the type of guy that didn't really give a fuck about his hair. He didn't really care what it looked like. I just gave him like a 1.5 blended into like a 2 or 3 on the top, something slight, and then I squared off the back. So I would suggest being mindful and conscious about that. I also would say kind of get there early too. You don't want to be the last person rolling in. I remember right before this test is about to start, because the test can't start until everybody that's supposed to be scheduled for that testing cycle is there. So they wait for everybody. So I remember it was like 2 people that came late. We was all waiting for them, like, yo, where you at? And I was like the first person there. So I would suggest getting there early to kind of help get your mind right for the test. Because I feel like it could be a little nerve-wracking. So during the practical, you have, it's a 3-part test. You have the haircut, which is on a haircut, you have to show blending skills. And then you have the straight razor, and on a straight razor, you have the 14 strokes. So definitely get your 14 strokes down because they're judging every stroke. And then you have the perm rods. So either get really good at your blood spill procedures, or get them strokes down and learn how to finesse it. Now, another trick I would say is make sure when you get your model for the straight razor shave, make sure it's someone that don't have a big beard, someone that don't have really, really coarse, thick hair. Get someone that has like really, really minimal hair, a light beard, because they're only judging the strokes, right? Everything else you can refine later. So if you have somebody that has a beard, at least get someone that has like softer hair, right? So it'll be easier to shave it off. And the day before you go in, cut the beard down really, really low. It's like a 5 o'clock shadow. So then when you go in the next day, it's easier for you to do it. So you're not wasting time, because it's also time. So you're not wasting time like trying to cut the beard down and then you got to do all this. I remember doing the test, there was a guy who brought in a dude who had a bigger beard. He had to cut the beard down. Then after cutting the beard down, he had to use a straight razor. Then after he used a straight razor, he cut the guy like 6 times. He had to do the blood spill procedure 6 times. I promise you he didn't pass, right? If you cut the beard down the day before, then you have a chance for the client to cut the beard down, go in, take a shower, shampoo and condition the beard, so when he comes in the next day, the skin itself is softer. It's just easier to cut through. So you're not cutting the dude all up and shit like that, like Tweety Todd, you know what I'm saying? That's just things to be mindful about. So you have the straight razor shave, and then you have the perm rods. And then that's it. It's a point system. I do know that. So, all I like to say, just be mindful about all the things that I just said. I'm gonna let the video rock. I'm finishing up the fade, finishing up the blend. I'm gonna go from here, go into the straight razor. I'm gonna leave my guy back. Probably hit him with a little bit of enhancements, I think. And then send him on his way. Yeah, that's been video 3. Before I go, let me get that HBO special. That's the Help a Brother Out special. That's the give me a like, give me a comment if I did bad, if I did good. Go follow my Instagram, is down in the description. And just fuck with me.
Right now, my old boss, he paid me 23.
Off the radio, that's, I think he's gonna start off at 23.
But you get more,
Yeah.
with colors.
The colors.
Yeah.
It says you wanna get dirty.
I get very every day. Oh, when and off.
Yeah.
How we get it? How much is where it's at?
I'll take my mind to switch up.
I see you got your little shit up there, Sean. Yeah, I see you up there, Sean.
Yeah, I just got that.
Yeah, her tires are shining, yo. Hell yeah. Her tires are shining.
your mouth while they come together to take some shit out your mouth that's wrong. He'll smack you before you even get it out.
You switched up, you said you finished. I guess I couldn't keep your interest, babe. I don't care who's next up, too extra, you messed up. Ay, lie after lie. Now you send through a text, you don't get a reply. Damn, why would you try? Thought a heart to heart would help us see eye to eye. All the time wasted on this. I know this ain't good as it gets. Yeah, yeah. Wasn't I the same one sliding through the crib almost every single night? Hit me up, hit the spot, and hit the store and get you everything you like. Tryna reach your soul every time you get the pipe. Break it up and roll, all you needed was a light. Handing out control, I'm just tryna get it right. Coming down slow, sending grouse, give you life. I want you to need me. I ain't do you greasy. I can't let you keep me. You make this too easy. Yeah. You try to play me, but you played yourself. You try to play me, but you played your heart. You try to play me, but you played yourself. Definition of a hopeless romantic. On the low, I can't help it. Many took it for granted. Now you know I'm selfish. Was it wrong for me all along to take a chance to believe in you? Devil horns with a halo on. I had me a vision for us, but you too blind to see it through. Wasn't you the same one begging for a chance to be more than a friend? Another reason just to build a wall up and make it harder for me to let anybody in. Time over money, what you gon' spend? One you get back, one you never do again. Cry me a river, might go for a swim. Cause I want that real love, where they ride to the end. That's crazy. I want you to need me. I ain't do you greasy. I can't let you keep me. You make this too easy. Just everything that you wanna have. What if I You switched up, you said you finished. I guess I couldn't keep your interest, babe. I don't care who's next up, too extra, you messed up. Ay, lie after lie. Now you send through a text, you don't get a reply. Damn, why would you try? Thought a heart to heart would help us see eye to eye. All the time wasted on this. I know this ain't good as it gets. Yeah, yeah. Wasn't I the same one sliding through the crib almost every single night? Hit me up, hit the spot, and hit the store and get you everything you like. Tryna reach your soul every time you get the pipe. Break it up and roll, all you needed was a light.